Hey, good morning, it's Owen Bigland. This is the Inside Edge video blog. I was watching BNN Network, the business news network, a couple days ago. They had a story in Toronto, on Toronto real estate. They had a local, a very well-known, big producing realtor in Toronto on the show. And they had another guy, a contrarian to the realtor, saying that Toronto real estate prices were in a bubble and he saw a major correction, a crash. 40 or 50% is what he was predicting. But this exchange went back and forth, the realtor, the pros of owning real estate in Toronto and the long-term benefits and where he thought the market was going, and then this other guy who thought the market was going to crash 50%. And it got kind of heated. It was kind of funny, actually. But one of the exchanges back and forth is the guy told the realtor, he says, you know, you're a typical realtor. It's always a good time to buy and it's always a good time to sell, isn't it? As long as you get your commissions. And I kind of had to laugh because I've heard that before, and as funny as it sounds, it's actually true, unfortunately for this guy, because it is actually always a good time to buy and always a good time to sell real estate. But it depends on your personal situation. Everybody's different. For one guy, it might be a good time to buy. For another guy, it might be a good time to sell. It all depends on your circumstance. So I thought here in 2 minutes, I'll give you just a quick rundown of who would be a good time, who would be a good seller right now, and who I'm seeing and working with as a buyer. So it's July 2015. The market, as we know, is still very, very active, hot market. Not white hot, it was maybe a little bit even more active this past spring, but it's still a hot market. Strong seller's market for detached homes, strong seller's market. Fairly strong seller's market for townhomes, older townhomes. For condos in downtown Richmond and downtown Vancouver, I would say more balanced. Although there's a bit of both in there. It depends. If it's a certain boutique buildings in Crosstown and Gastown, Vancouver, it is a seller's market there as well. But in certain areas of downtown Vancouver and in Richmond, it's a buyer's market. As a matter of fact, there's so much new development going up in downtown Richmond around SkyTrain. A lot of inventory. It's balanced or maybe even favoring the buyer right now. So that's where we're at July 2015. So here we go. Good time to be a seller right now. Well, there's a number of circumstances, but I'll run you through a few that I've had this past summer. A couple who's owned a house for the last 20 or 25 years. The kids have grown up. They've moved out of the home. It's a 3,000 square foot house. Way more space than what they need. The house is worth $1.5 million now, mortgage free. Putting it on the market and having me sell it, I am going to get them the absolute record-setting price for their house. Their house has never been more valuable than it is now. We can sell the house for $1.5 million. It's a principal residence. It all goes completely tax-free. Being your principal residence, it's the best tax shelter we have. It's the only true tax shelter we have. Keep that in mind. RRSPs are great. All you're doing, though, is deferring the taxes until you turn it into a RIF. Keep that in mind. Principal residence all flows out tax-free to them, $1.5 million. They could take $1 million of that and buy a basket of Canadian dividend stocks, Canadian bank stocks that are going to yield you $45,000 a year in dividends alone, and take another $500,000 and buy a brand new condo down in Falls Creek. And these are situations that I've had. Buy an $800,000 two-bedroom, lay $500,000 down and have a small mortgage because you can get it at 2.5%. It's cheap money. You may as well take advantage of it. So that would be one situation. Another situation that I've had, a house on a busy street. So you had this house, it's on Knight Street, it's on Granville Street, it's on Cambie, it's on Main, Steveston Highway, Westminster Highway, number 1 road, 2 road. Drive down any major streets now, busy streets, and you'll notice how many for sale signs they are. You might also notice that probably 3/4 of them have a sold sticker on them. They don't last very long. So now is the window to sell if you have a house that's on a very busy street. Because when markets turn, and eventually it will, this market will not stay this hot forever. Eventually interest rates are going to go up a little bit, and it's going to have a lowering or a slowing effect on the market. But for right now, it's hot. Now's the time to sell if you've got a house on a busy street, because they're going to sell. You wait till the market slows, and these homes are difficult to sell. If you go back to 2012, I used to see the signs on Steveston Highway and number 1 road and 2 road. The signs were up for 6 months, never sold. Now you put the sign up and it's sold 3 weeks later. So that would be another situation where it's a good time to be a seller right now. Good time, and there's many more. Good time to be a buyer. Good time to be a buyer would be a young couple, currently renting, you're working. If you've got the money for a down payment, that's the tough part, borrowing from your parents or saving up from work to get that down payment. Now would be a good time to be a buyer, as long as you've got a long-term horizon. So if you like living in the Lower Mainland, in Richmond, Vancouver, who doesn't? It's the best place in Canada to live by far, but you pay the price with high real estate costs. If you've got the down payment and you're able to qualify for a mortgage and you've got a long-term horizon, go back to my later blogs, at least 7, 8, 9 years, then now is a perfect time to buy, as opposed to paying $2,500 a month for rent. Every rent check that goes to your landlord is lost money. If you can afford to get in now, don't bother trying to time markets and thinking that the market's going to drop 10% or 20% in 2 or 3 years from now. You're just going to lose that 3 years worth of rent down the road that you're shelling out to your landlord. So if you've got a long-term horizon, at least 7 to 8 years, buy now. It sure beats renting. So it is always a good time to buy and sell. It all depends on your personal situation. And I've laid out a few for you there, but there's plenty more. I'm Owen Bigland. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.